Hi Flosstube, it's Kim with Kim J Stitches. It's Sunday, June 8th. I am here for my monthly update. There are going to be some changes coming up. I'm going to be updating more. I'll talk about that in a minute. First, I want to welcome you. This is a channel about cross stitch. Thank you for all of you who have been following me for almost 5 years. I started doing floss tubes in June of 2020. I've kind of been sporadic about it. Now I'm trying to be here every month, and I'm probably going to start going to every 2 weeks because I have so many projects to show you today that I need to do that. Now I may look in funny places. This as I said last time, I'm shooting in my guest room. It's really nice in here and the lighting seems to be better than at my dining room table, but right now the sun is playing peekaboo with us, so might be a little bit troublesome there. If you are new, welcome. I am so flattered anytime someone wants to spend some time with me talking about cross stitch. You can like and subscribe below. Also leave me a comment. I love to read your comments. So I'm very, very thankful for everyone. So let's talk about, I was using a different name. I've kind of been almost like crazy with name changes with my channel. I was using Stitching with Southern Places and Faces, and that was a part of what we were doing with our travel writing. And I've just decided travel writing is a lot for me. And I really haven't been doing it probably in a year anyway. So we're just going to kind of back off of that. We still have our website, Southern Places and Faces. We still post on socials there, but this whole thing with cross stitch is separate. So I'm just going to be Kim J Stitches, have Southern Places and Faces separate and not try to combine the two. I promise you I won't change the name again. I do almost everything I do crafting wise is cross stitch because cross stitching is one hobby, and I love cross stitching. It's my stress relief. There's also collecting cross stitch, which I do a really good job of. And there's also full finishing. I'm not a great full finisher, but I like to try it. I can't really afford to frame everything, but I'm not perfect. But they're for me, and if I'm giving something to someone else, yes, I definitely put a lot more effort into my full finishing. Steve will tell you that I tend to have the house kind of all messy when I do my full finishing. Speaking of Steve, he is here. Come on over and say hello.
Hello.
Smile.
Hey.
Yeah, he has a great smile. Steve's going to be helping me a little bit because I have a lot of full finishes for you. This is probably going to be a long video. So as I mentioned earlier, because I do so much stitching, as Steve will tell you, I am going to start doing every 2 weeks because I have untold amount of projects. I think there's 16 or 17, and I'm not even showing you 2 because one of them I've got to frog everything out that I stitched, and on another one of them I just didn't get that much done. So, and also life updates, I really just kind of do those as we are going through the stitching because stitching just kind of is incorporated with my life. So Steve's going to hang around because when I show you my full finishes, he's going to run them in the dining room table, come back and get the other one off camera. So he's going to be kind of in this room. Thank you, Steve, for helping us out. So let's talk about full finishes. So I have a lot of them this month. This one I did not do this month, but this is one I did a few years ago, but I was not doing floss tube when I finished this. This is the Country Cottage Needleworks June Cottage of the Month. I did all of this monthly series. This is not a perfect finish. Sometimes I can't. I also fully finished September on the back. My mom was born in June and my father was born in September. This this kind of just sits out. I have actually, and the paint job is not that good, but I could fix that anytime. I have a couple more of these things. These were actually brown, and they had football writing on them about keeping up with football or something. And I bought them at Target, and so I have a few more. So I'm going to take a few more of my monthly samplers of the month from Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm going to use this. I actually did June on a fabric called Linda, and that is because my mom's name was Linda. And I think I also did September on Linda. It was 27 count, but the others are done on 32 count vintage country mocha, a Belfast linen. So, but I do love having these up. Steve, if you'll just put that on the dining room table and come back for the next one.
All right.
So that's you. All right, he's so good. You gotta like Steve. The next one, you saw the finish of this. I think I might have fully finished it this month. This is Summer. This was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine from August of 2023. And I finished this, and I was looking at all these complicated finishes, and you know, I love to cross stitch. I don't love to finish as much. As I said, I kind of have to. Some days I really get into finishing and I'm excited, but I just did this in the simple frame, and it sits up. We have a hutch in the dining room table that I bought more for displaying stuff than for storing, but it's also stores some things for us. So I stitched this on some 14 count fabric from Hobby Lobby. It's just a blue fabric. I don't know if the color is showing up that it's blue. This was a lot of fun to stitch. And again, this is in an August 2023 Just Cross Stitch magazine. I cannot remember the designer off the top of my head, but it's in my previous video, and I'll try to mention it down below. Steve, if you'll just set this on our big dining room table, I'll set them back up where I want them. Here is something that I actually stitched. This was in my very first Flosstube video way back in 2020. I'd already stitched this, and I just fully finished it this week. This is Liberty by Stitching with the Housewives. And I did this on the call for I got the kits. Oop, there's a little glue string right there. Well, you can't see it. I can. It's all day I got the kits. It had all the call for colors. It had the 14 count Ada. This is really pretty. So I just painted something from Woodpile at Hobby Lobby. Painted it white. Added a little rickrack, which my rickrack is not perfect. I will get better at it. It's the first time I've done rickrack like that. I was like, I am not into adding a lot of things because I think it takes away from the stitching sometimes for me personally. So I do a lot of simple finishes, and this actually also sits up on our hutch in our dining room. When I say hutch, it's really not that big, and I think you've seen it in previous videos if you go back a couple of videos. So I really like, this was fun. I do have the jar. This came with, if you remember, Priscilla did a series of jars, and she had smalls with them, and this was the small, and I have the Liberty jar. I still have all of them. I stitched 2 of the jars. I stitched the sunflower jar, and the others I'm thinking I'm going to stitch one day, but who knows. Steve, here you go. He's going to, there he is. You can see his head there. There he popped in. You saw this full finish last month. This is Long May She Wave. This is from Little House Needleworks. And it came with some threads, and it came with the pattern. But you can, on the pattern, use whatever colors you want. Sometimes a simple frame is best. I was looking in Stash trying to figure out what I was going to do with this, and I just found this frame, and I framed it. Now, I kind of did something weird on the back after I kind of laced it together. I put this piece of wood because I could not find the back of this frame. So, it may lean. It has been hanging up, but I haven't done anything with it yet. Right now, it hangs up in our dining room on what is now our patriotic wall. Steve, if you'll take that. Oh, that fabric is 16 count Country French Cafe Mocha. And I had that in my stash. And I stitched that a long time ago too. So last time I showed you this map project, and I'd kind of had a full finish. I didn't really like it. And then I've kind of done something else that I really don't like. But it's done, and I'm not going to unglue it. So this was Home Sweet Home. I had this on a map, and we could not get it to hang, and it fell a couple of times. The map kind of broke a little bit. Well, I had this in stash. What I didn't notice is this is probably supposed to be done this way, but I decided to do it this way. Painted it red, sticking this on there. It hangs perfectly. I don't care that that sticks out more. It's for me. This is from a Leisure Arts book, a very old Leisure Arts book from the 1990s. I don't even know if I have the book anymore because I gave away a lot of my cross stitch stuff a few years ago to a neighbor of mine. So I don't know if I even have this book anymore. But this is 18 count white Ada that I stitched this on. And it hangs, and I know it's weird to see that, but I didn't even think about, okay, maybe that should go that way. But it's done. It's mine. It's a finish. And a finish is a finish, and it's better than leaving it in a box somewhere. There you go, Steve. Thank you. That's the last one you have to do, Steve. You could go and enjoy yourself. Thank you, Steve. So these two last finishes, you saw one of the birds. There's still a little glue on it because I did these yesterday. So I love these. This is from Luminous Fiber Arts. Missy Purcell, I have several of her patterns that I need to get to in my stash. So these are her Christmas birds. And I stitched this one, I think, last year. So what I've been doing with them, now the back still got a little bit, but I just glue And I could I'm going to take an X-Acto knife or something and get the rest of that fabric out. Right now I'm okay with it. And I love this red gingham because y'all know gingham's my thing. And I really do. And I've been doing them in little 4-inch hoops like this. So this one was stitched last year. You saw this one has a full finish during my last time. So that one is done. And this one I stitched this one's been on our tree a couple of years. This was the first one I did as a little chickadee. So they were all finished the same way. They look really cute on our tree every year. So that's all of the full finishes that I had. That was quite a bit. I am not, like I said, I have to be in the mood to fully finish, and I'm not the best full finisher. So I'm actually going to be doing some reaching here, and I'm trying. I know I hit the laptop a lot last week. I have got everything kind of in order here. So with all of my whips and my finishes, so hopefully this will go pretty smoothly. So I had 3 finishes, and I actually remembered to bring my board. Hey. So this one is one that you saw as a whip, I think, last month. This one is from a Just Cross Stitch Christmas 2015. And I don't remember the designer. And this was just Country Church. Now, I did it totally different. I changed the church colors a lot. I changed a lot of the colors, except for the colors that are in the wreath. I stitched this on some 28 count Scotsman. It's coming out more gray. It's a blue fabric. It's from Be Stitch Me. I was in their club a few years ago, and this came from their club. So I am going to be framing this. I have several different churches already, Christmas churches. I have one that I did that is from Perry Schooler, and of course I have Silent Night from Country Cottage Needleworks, also finished, and it was professionally framed at Hobby Lobby. So I'm planning on framing that, and then I'm going to stitch a few other Christmas churches and have a Christmas church wall because I like having walls, of different kinds of things. I'm still working on my hem wall. You'll see one of those projects in my whips. I also, y'all, if you were following me on Instagram, you've already seen this. I finished this yesterday. This is from Primrose Cottage Stitches. It's called Kind Words. I am doing a lot of yellow, which I used to not like yellow, and I'm doing bees and blues in this room where I'm shooting in. And sorry, I'll touch my hair a lot. It stays in my face. I stitched this on some 28 count white even weave that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I used all the called for colors. And this is done in DMC, so it's really a good thing. So it's easy, when it's DMC, you can get something, you can start it automatically. I bought the pattern. I do think it's available as a PDF from Primrose Cottage. I think so now. You're going to see another Primrose Cottage too. By the way, if you see me in real life, I usually wear glasses, but because I have issues with my vision up close, I can see really well up close. I just can't see far away. And even using progressives or bifocals doesn't work well for me. So it's always best for me just to kind of stay back here. This is another Primrose Cottage, and I just don't know how to fully finish it yet, and I'm working on that. This is Hello Summer. It's one of their stamped series. It had a border. I just didn't like the border, and I struggled with the border. So I just did this, and I'm calling it finished. This is also on some 28 count even weave from Hobby Lobby. I like that 28 count white even weave from Hobby Lobby, and it's like either $5.99 or $6.99. I can do a lot of projects on it. But I finished this sometime in the middle of May. I pulled out a lot of stuff. I actually bought a little cube thinking I was going to finish it that way. I might have this fully finished when you see me again next week. So anyway, but this is my 47th floss tube in case I didn't tell you that. So those are my 3 finishes. A lot of FF0s, had a lot of that going on. So I also had a lot of whips, and I had a lot of haul. And I'm going to do something weird. I'm going to start showing you my starts, and then I'm going to show you a piece of haul before I go into my whips. So it's kind of weird. I usually do this in order, but there's a reason, and that is because these pictures are on my phone, because they are all PDFs. So that is why I'm doing that. So hold on while I kind of get these things pulled up. It is really, sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. As much as you try to plan these things sometimes sometimes they just don't work like you want them to. So let's talk about my starts. So the first one is one that I have had in stash forever, and I have no idea why I never started it. So this is God Shed His Grace on Thee by Hands On Design. I actually even bought the sulky threads. I spent a lot of money. I bought the sulky thread pack too. So I have that. And I really haven't stitched a lot with sulky threads, but I really enjoyed this. I worked on this on Memorial Day. I didn't get much done. This is just on some 32 count even weave. And that's what I got. I got GO kind of a D. So gold, I guess. So that's where I got on that one. But I really do like this. I'm really enjoying stitching with the sulky threads. And I need not to leave that pattern back there. So this is fun. I know a lot of people have stitched this. I saw this. This has been out, I think since 2021. And I think I bought it not too soon and bought the threads. I think I bought it then, well, not too soon after it came out. Guys, I may talk fast. You might have to slow your video or something. I've been wanting to do, we have a wall full of family pictures. And I bought this from Stitching with the Housewives. It says family. Bought this last year, I think, when it came out. And I love it. And you can actually put the, I may stitch this twice. Once for my family with Steve and once for my family that I grew up in. My nuclear family, I guess. So I started this, and I am just using some 14 count vellum for this. So I got to start on this, and like I said, I may stitch this twice, and I may stitch it on different. I love vellum. It's from Picture This Plus, and this is where I am on that. Got a pretty good start on that this month. So this is a fun pattern. So we're going to go back to Primrose Cottage because I stitch a lot. You're going to see something probably every Flosstube from Primrose Cottage stitches because I like smalls. They come out with a lot of smalls that you can do fast. In fact, I do a lot of their holiday smalls. I have on the other side of where we are, I have a shelf. It's a cube shelf and it has all of my holiday finishes, and I think there's 2 at least from Primrose Cottage. There might be 3 because I've got something blocking part of it. So yeah, you'll see a lot of Primrose Cottage. So one of the things they do, if you subscribe to their newsletter, they give you a free pattern every month. And they're seasonal and they're awesome. And I haven't really stitched a lot of them. So hopefully you can see this. This is the free pattern Friday for this month. And isn't that cute? It's a little round. I love it. So I also, this time you have the option of buying a kit. And I decided to buy the kit because it came with a Valdani. I hope I said that right. They're in here, but they are so messy. I don't want you to see them. They're not that messy. Yeah, Valdani threads. So that's the red. It's really, really pretty. Very, very, but I think the blue is the prettiest. And I have not put these on Flosstubes. Isn't that beautiful and variegated? And I also got, what also came with the, kit, you can pick some fabric. I picked some 32 count even weave taupe. And this is the start. I started it yesterday, and this is my start. Let's see if you can see that better. So this is going to be fun. I am going to put it on my patriotic. I'm working on more patriotic stuff. I think I had more than I thought, but I always like to do a lot of, y'all know I like to do a lot of seasonal things. That's why sometimes my larger whips get kind of lost. So, but those were my 3 starts. Did I get to all of them? Memorial Day, family. Yep, those were my 3 starts since my last video. My 3 starts in May. So I am ashamed to say that I could have probably had 2 finishes if I just pushed them a little bit. And I know that by the time I'm going to say this on one, okay, I'm going to say this project I'm about to show you, I have set a whole bunch of deadlines for myself and never met them. This one is big. I don't even think it's going to be, let me see if I can get it on my board. Yeah, kind of. So, I don't know, I keep kicking that table. This is One Nation. And I have everything in. I have all those little stars. But now I am just down to that last row right there. The last red row with the stripes. I am leaving, I'm going to show you, on purpose, I am leaving the bottom empty because once I finish all the stripes, right down here next to Hawaii, I'm going to put my name and the dates that I worked on it, which as long as I get it done this month or this year, it's going to be from 2020 to 2025. 5 years. I started it in late 2020 on some 18 count like oatmeal fabric that I used to love to stitch on. That used to be my go-to fabric for a lot of stuff. And the white was not showing up well enough, so I went and bought a huge piece. This is 18 count vintage country mocha. And the white showed up. Now I used the Cupid red, I think it's blacksmith blue, which are the call for, but I just used white, just plain white on these. See, the sun is playing peekaboo. I'm hoping you can see everything today. I should have shot early this morning. The sun was beautiful, but we went to church and Sunday school, and that's important, more important than this. So anyway, I do hope, because I just have those last 2 stripes and then filling in that information. My goal, Saturday is Flag Day, is to put the last stitches in on Flag Day. So that is my goal. Here's another one, Poor Steve. This is one I've been doing for him. I think I started this in late 2022. Late 2020 also. So this is from Heartstring Samplery. And this is coffee. And she did several series about coffee. This is the only one I got. It says, I don't have a problem with coffee. I have a problem without coffee. I am using all the call for colors except I'm using DMC for that very light color. I was working on it and I just happened not to have it in stash. Y'all, I'm so close to this. I'm going to finish it today, I think, because all I have to do, why am I doing that? I have my board. Y'all, I'm just me, and I do enjoy doing these. I don't know why I stopped, because I actually am having kind of fun, because I love to talk about cross stitch. So this is the project, okay? And all I have left to do is this little bowl of berries down here. I have it on upside down. That is funny. Y'all need to use that for a blooper. I have it upside down. That's why you can't see the bowl of berries. Here we go. And all I have left to do is that little bowl of berries at the bottom, and then adding initials. I might add Steve's initial, SJ, or mine, KJ. But this is the last little bit I have to do is just finishing up that bowl and adding the initial. Last night I finished up all the little red flowers that you see there. I had not finished those, and I had some work to do in that bird. I finished up that bird and I had a few of those little flowers things to do. And it's done. I know Steve's going to be excited. I just don't know where we're going to put it. Our kitchen doesn't have, we live in an apartment, as you know, and we've been here a year. And we love it. We've just re-upped for a year. I have a lot of room. I have an office and a craft room. And I just don't know where exactly we're going to put it, because we're going to have walls full of stuff, because I'm always making things. So those two, One Nation and coffee, crossing my fingers that I'm going to have those done in a couple of weeks. All right. So the next project, let's talk about Christmas stuff. This is Prairie Schooler Santa. This is 2000. 2000. Last time I said my son was born in 2020. This is the 2000 Santa. And I'm doing this because my son was born in 2000. And I always have a Prairie Schooler Santa going. And I worked just a little bit on this. I'm getting some work in on his. And I stitched this on 18 count vintage country mocha, and I think that the white, I think it all pops so well. Since I switched over to vintage country mocha 18 count for my Santas, I'm much happier with their size, and I'm very happy with them. Oh, I forgot to tell you that on this is 30, and I didn't tell you, this is 32 count Ren from Picture This Plus. This is a favorite fabric of mine. I don't use it as much as I have some in stash, not a ton, because I used a lot of it when I bought a bunch probably a few years ago and then used a lot of it. So anyway, yeah, Prairie Schooler Santas. This is a big bag full of all the Santas. Oops, I almost showed you the chart. Full of all, there's some of the ones that I have finished. So I'm keeping up with my Prairie Schooler Santas in one bag. All right, my other Christmas project, and I really want to put more work into this because I love this one, but you'll understand why I'm only stitching on it during the day, and today ain't the day because I want to finish Steve's coffee and I'll probably work on One Nation today. So this is Autumn Lane Stitcheries. Santa Claus is coming to town. When I saw Sarah of Sarah Stitches stitch this and she showed it, it was like I went and bought it, and I bought everything with it. It's all of the colors are DMC, so that's extremely great. I love it when it's. I like all the fancy flosses too, but I just love a good DMC because I can run down to Hobby Lobby, which is about 12 minutes for me, and buy this. So I got a little bit of progress. I stitched on it just one day. Get that thread off. And I got past the S. These colors pop. This is the call for fabric. The call for fabric is Mystic by Picture This Plus. It's 28 count, but I'm choosing to do 18 count. Steve's making a lot of noise in there. I apologize. He works all the time. I can hear him. He's out there getting trash and everything. So this is where I am. Dark fabric, I don't mind working on it, but I've gotten to the point to where I have to work on it a whole lot during the day mostly. All right, where are we next? Okay, so I only have 2 more, so I thought this was going to be a long video, probably because I talk too fast, and I don't know, I'm not a real detailed, I just like tell you the things, and then I'm done. This is, my mom's birthday was in June, and I'm working on 2 projects for her. It's a little hot in here, by the way. I'm working on 2 projects for her. One is the Simplicity pattern that you've seen in previous videos. And this one is She Collects Pigs. And this one is Wilbur by Teresa Kogut. I love it. He's so cute. So I had to restart this because I totally messed up and I just restarted it. So I picked this up on her birthday, and pretty much this is all I worked on. I've been working on the outline. So what I do to count, if there's a lot, it's all like count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do 9 and then leave the 10th one empty, and then I'll go back and fill those in. What I got done was I got a little bit more of his ear done, if you can see that. I am using all the call for colors. There's a mixture of kinds of flosses in there. I think there's even DMC in the call for. This is 32 count Bramblewood, which is also, it is from Picture This Plus. There's a trend here. I'm using a lot. It seems like everything is Picture This Plus here. But this is the call for fabric. And I like the fabric. I didn't think I would. It's a linen. I think it's a Cashel. I can't tell if it's Cashel or Belfast, but it's a linen. And I actually am enjoying stitching on it. I'm doing a lot more even weave now than I am linen. And I don't mind linen. To be honest with you, if I want to do I do a project on whatever I decide. If I want to do Ada, even 14 count. I don't do a lot of 14 count anymore. I do mostly 18 count, but I do whatever. If I feel like I want to stitch that on linen, it's just I don't know, it's just a thing. I don't really worry about it so much. I don't get uptight about, oh, why are you doing this project on Ada, or why are you doing this project on, I just don't worry about it anymore. Seems like, oh no, I was thinking I'd forgotten a project. So Steve was going to, y'all know Steve has Alzheimer's, and he's doing extremely well, and he's doing so well that he was going to speech therapy, and he doesn't really need to go at this point, and he may go back again at some point. And I was working on this wonderful project while he was in speech, because I would drive him there and pick him up. He still drives. So this is There Is Room in the Table by Annie the Proper Stitcher. I love, love, love this. So I am stitching this, and I realize that I have to frog, and I actually have the needle still in it, so forgive me. I'm doing, this fabric is actually some Grace Notes fabrics. It is Gingerbread Latte. It is 18 count. So forgive me for leaving my needle in there. This is where I am. And I realize that I think I have a mistake right here, which is why I left my needle in there. And I really haven't picked it up much since Steve hasn't been going to those appointments, but I'm going to try to put that in regular rotation. As I said, I'm using 18 count Gingerbread Latte. I am using 936 green DMC, and I really, really enjoy doing it. I think the color is and I've actually thought about doing it several times and doing it in different colors, because it's just a perfect little pattern that you might want to do, you know, and play around with some colors. So my last project, I didn't work a lot on this, but I just want to show you guys something. So I love this project. Okay. This is His Eyes on the Sparrow from Sweet Wing Studio. I actually have, and they're PDFs. I picked up, she had a sale, and I actually picked up a couple more of her patterns on Memorial Day. I love stitching her things. So I am using a lot of the called for, but I'm also substituting DMC. So there is a color in here called Gentle Art Simply Wool Garden Gate, and the substitution for it was 3787. So I bought the 3787, and it is green, and it goes in the bird right there, and it's kind of green. No, I don't want my little sparrow to be green. It's kind of a green gray in this picture. So what I did was I did a search, and 3787 and DMC 645 are kind of similar. So I'm going to rip this out. I mean, it just doesn't look right, but that's what it says was to substitute for. And no, I don't think so. So I'll be, once I get that, I'm going to be substituting the 645 and using that color in the little bird. This will stitch up fast. This is one of my Sunday stitches, and I love it. It's just, I haven't honestly been doing a lot of my Sunday stitches lately because I've just been working on whatever calls to me. I don't really do a lot of the games, I guess you would call them, or the prompts, because I can come into the room and go, well, I want to do this, and then I change my mind and want to do something else. I actually have one more whip that I need to show you that I almost forgot about. This is, y'all know that I had DMC make me a pattern of a picture of my son Lee, and that is the picture. This is a lot of confetti, okay? It's a lot, and I'm making slow progress. I don't know when I'm going to have this finished. I am not planning on starting another full coverage for a while because the confetti in this makes me crazy. But this is where I got to this month. That is like a weight. It looks like it's not finished, but it is. But I worked on it a couple of nights, and I actually have made some good progress. But yeah, it's tough. I'm not even halfway through. I bought the pattern a few years ago, started it, didn't like it, restarted it, and now and this is 18 count, just some white Ada I had in stash. It's not going to be very big full coverage, so I'm hoping that it looks true to the picture. I try to work on it on Thursdays, but again, as I said, if I decide that I want to work on something else, I do. And His Eyes on the Sparrow, this is some 28 count gray even weave that I had in stash, and the picture of the pattern, the call for is a 28 count Whisper Lugana and so it's not that far off. In fact, they may be the same. I don't know. I bought this this fabric at Tudor Rose, which is no longer business in Clarksville, Georgia. Thank goodness I'm seeing a lot more cross-stitch stores. My best friend and I, as I told you last month, we went to Patches and Stitches in Huntsville. We'll be doing some more. Going to other stores. If anybody wants to start a cross-stitch store in the Chattanooga area, please do. Or let me know, because it would be nice to have one close by. I might be broke, but hey, I would even work there for you. So, for the discounts. Anyway, guys, I thought I was going to be long, probably because I talk very fast. I don't know what that is. My eye looks weird. Anyway, sorry about that. Like, oh, my eye looks kind of weird. So thank you again. Again, if you like what you see, if you've stayed with me for 34 minutes and 10 seconds, like and subscribe. I will have some giveaways next month. I was planning on having them this month, and I just honestly forgot to bring them in here. So I am going to be doing some charts that I'm going to give away. And I'll do that in 2 weeks. So just kind of stay tuned for that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great next 2 weeks, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.